a scuffle between two weak-ass men turned into the largest U.S. mass shooting of 2017. I've been telling these Gilligans for years, watch what you do. But you know, some people don't give a damn. Some people don't care. One person was killed and 15 others were injured. She said the conflict escalated from a fist fight to a gun battle. They don't make men like they used to. My uncle, who used to run the streets of Walnut Hills and run the streets of Cincinnati, he told me stories of a time when dudes used to get in fist fights with pistols in their back pockets, and the pistols never came out. These weak-ass men these days, they want to run their mouth, and when somebody put them paws on them, they want to get their weapon. If it's a fist fight, it remains a fist fight. Quote, one guy punched someone, and then it just led into a big brawl. And as soon as the shots fired, everybody just started dropping and running. I know they were. She said that she felt one bullet fly past her face. And seconds later, another struck her in the leg. And she wasn't even a part of it. I mean, I don't know. Let's say you pull your weapon out and the room scatters. If you can't get your mark, you don't pull the trigger. And yesterday there was a big meeting at the Law and Public Safety. Or at the Law and Public Safety meeting yesterday. It was a big meeting. The media was there. Christopher Smitherman, who's the chair of that particular committee, was there. I wasn't able to be in attendance, but I did watch it on City Cable as much as I could. Very interesting. I posted a link, and the link is still up, and you can watch all of council proceedings. I would encourage you to do so. So you can figure out who's who and what's what. And Chief of Police, Cincinnati Police Chief Elliot Isaac spoke to the media at City Hall yesterday, and he said they're going to continue an investigation into the shootings. 17 people were injured and one killed, not 15 as previously reported. Not 15, 17. And I'm reading now that the owner of Club Cameo probably, and again, I think this is a smart move by Mr. Julian Rogers, a.k.a. J-Raj, as many people in the city of Cincinnati call him. And this got deep. It's amazing how fast they moved. So I want to say something straight up to anyone who's listening and Cincinnati officials. Closing Club Cameo is not going to solve Cincinnati's gun violence problem, right? I want to say that up in front so we understand. Everybody, we got to close the club. Okay, we can close that club. You still know these nigwas out here running around with guns. You do know that, don't you? And you can close the club and turn your back on that particular demographic in the city of Cincinnati if you want to. They're still here. I know parts of this city don't want to believe that there are 20-year-old black people that live in this city, okay? But they're here. I mean, this rush to close the club like that means any damn thing. It doesn't mean anything for the people that already lost somebody. That's over with. It doesn't mean anything. Like if I'm a victim and I've been shot in the leg and a bullet traveled up to my pelvic area, I got a bullet embedded in my pelvis bone. The hip bone's connected to the pelvis bone, right? Not the bullet bone. Bullets, pelvis bullets, that's not supposed to be there. That makes no difference to me if I'm sitting in Children's Hospital recovering. I don't give a damn if the club is closed or not. But it's politics. It's the way things look. J-Raj has to play the game. He's got other business interests. I get it. Think it's a smart move. Why fight that battle? Why kick up that dust and you've got other business interests? I get it. Makes a lot of sense. But for the politicians and the citizens who believe, we'll show them. All those same individuals, the 200 people that were in that club, they still live here. They're still looking for something to do on a Sunday morning, Sunday night, Saturday night. But it's that Cincinnati mentality, you know. We get problems in certain areas, we'll just turn our backs on it and forget it even existed. So again, Cincinnati still has a gun violence problem, and closing Club Cameo isn't going to make a difference in that problem at all. At all. Zero. But what do you think? 513-873-7134. The manager of Cameo nightclub, where 17 people were shot, one of them fatally, has voluntarily surrendered his liquor permits and will close. The closure announcement comes as Cincinnati police continue to investigate who fired shots, and the Ohio Investigative Unit, which handles the law enforcement portion of liquor licensing, handed down several violations and citations. That's deep. The investigative unit acted after touring the club once it was cleared by police on Sunday. Damn, they got there quick. They got there quick. Now it's up to the Ohio Liquor Commission to determine whether the violations should stand and if punishment is warranted. The club owners were also cited in 2015 for the presence of marijuana and paid an unknown fine to keep the licenses in place. Marijuana. Oh, dear Lord. Oh, sweet Jesus. They had marijuana in a club? Oh, no. This is a calamity. And people are still wondering how this is. Now, will this play any role, have any impact in the upcoming mayoral elections? We will wait and see. We shall have to see. We'll wait and see. That is deep. The worst mass shooting in 2017. And yesterday, Police Chief Isaac gave out some updates and revealed a little bit of information, including that 5 people remain hospitalized, 2 in critical condition. The police department does not have the video surveillance of the actual shooting. The department is working around the clock to identify these suspects. And the police department's vice squad is working with the club manager. And they're going to remain close until the end of the investigation. So it looks like Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers. It seems Mr. Rogers' neighborhood was never like this, was it? That's ironic. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. I won't get into it. It's too early for all of that. 513-873-7134. Very interesting. We must discuss. On the national front, I'm so sick and tired. I'm just tired of the rump. I'm tired of Trump the rump. Do we really have to do this for 4 more years? Now, after this devastating defeat, and again, I haven't spent much time on the fact that the Republicans were defeated by the Republicans in their attempts to repeal and replace Obamacare. And if you are a Republican, you got to be damn dissatisfied. Because now you understand that the magician really has no magical powers. It's all a trick. Obamacare was always political in nature. They hyped up the most negative aspects in some cases, and in other cases, they just straight up lied. Oh, death panels. The Republican Party spent 7 years talking about repealing and replacing Obamacare. And when it's their time to lead, when they've got majorities, right, in the Senate, majorities in the House of Representatives, majority, well, not a majority, but they've got the White House, right? Some would even say a majority of the Supreme Court. And they had a shot to really come up with a plan. They couldn't get it done. You know why? Because they never had a plan. They never had a plan. All these years saying all this ish, and they never had a plan at all. Because if they had a plan, they wouldn't have been scrambling at night. They wouldn't have been scrambling during the first 2-3 months of the Trump administration to come up with a plan that was satisfactory. It was always politics. It was always bullish. It was always trash. And people really bought into it. Oh, we're going to repeal and replace Obamacare. As if that's what I sent you to Washington to do. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873-7134. 513-873 And so now they're going to move on. Republicans, Donald Trump, they're going to huddle up. Listen, guys, that was a terrible defeat. That was a home loss. That was the first home loss for the Trump administration. Republicans killed the Republican idea of repeal and replace. The Freedom Caucus. Did you know that some of the founding members of the Freedom Caucus are from Ohio? Did you know that? I'll clue you in. Keep listening. 513-873-7134. And now the Republicans and Trump are going to move on to dismantle all of the Obama-era regulations. That's their new plan. This is your plan? So you don't really have any ideas. Your idea is just to repeal the ideas of the guy who was there before you. Talk about voters' remorse. Absolutely fiasco. Just a dereliction of duty, quite honestly. For years, these guys went on and on. Obamacare is evil. Obamacare is going to kill your mama. Obamacare is going to kill your grandmama. It's going to kill your family. They've got death panels. We've got a better idea, and they had no idea at all. It was all politics. That's what I get from it. But there's so much controversy surrounding the Trump administration that you can't really focus on any one thing too many times. Like, I don't think the Democrats should be gloating. What they need to be doing is securing that we're always going to have a free internet. That's what I'm concerned about. And I still have yet to hear Rachel Maddow talk about that. For anyone who gets on the internet, if you like to get on Facebook, if you like to go to Netflix, if you like to get on Hulu, if you're an online entrepreneur, if you have visions of doing things online, you need to keep your eyes on the concept, the idea of net neutrality. And I give MSNBC mass props in terms of their coverage and Rachel Maddow, her investigative chops, breaking down all the information as relates between the Russia-Trump connection. She gets an A for that. She gets a damn F in terms of talking about the FCC and net neutrality. And as I've told you once again, the reason why is because the company that owns the company that gives her a check stands to make a lot of money if the Republicans are able to do away with those Obama-era regulations again. I mean, here we go back with the scare tactics. When are these Republican zombies? Make America great again. When are they going to wake up? You got duped on Obamacare. It was a damn lie. And they're duping you on these so-called Obama-era regulations that are getting in the way of job creation. That is a damn lie. I don't believe any of it. Do you? 513-873-7134. You know, it's interesting. It's like the bigger Christopher Smitherman's afro gets, the more like a Republican he becomes. It's funny. It wasn't something he said. I was just watching CD Cable yesterday, and the afro I just kept smiling. I just like, wow, you got an afro? But do what you want. That's ad hominem. I know. Bad Nathan. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, stop talking, Nathan, and get to the choppers, right?
Get to the choppers!
No, you're not telling me what to do on my show, Arnold. Bump you.
Get to the choppers!
I said no!
Get to the choppers!
As always, threes up, be real, be righteous, be relevant, and smash that like button. Good morning to you. So it looks like Club Cameo or Cameo Nightclub is going to close its doors. How do you feel about that decision? 513-873-7134. And what have you been hearing? I know people live in the city of Cincinnati. I know many of you may have connections to people who may have been in the club. What have you been hearing? Someone sent me a message and said, Nate, people was lining up with the collection plates down in city council. Is that true? So give me some details. 513-873-7134. Kiki writes, great risings, Mr. Ivy and the Choppers. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 lips. Mike writes, good morning, fam. Charles writes, good morning, everyone. Ashley writes, good morning, Chop Shop. Tanika writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Pam writes, true show title, by the way. Thank you very much, Pam. I believe so. Let's not get it twisted. Solving Cincinnati's gun problem or violence problem, on whatever scale it might be, is bigger than closing the doors of the nightclub owned by the black guy. It's bigger than that. So I don't want the media and the police and the politicians to throw their hands up and say, oh, problem solved. We closed that nightclub. No. And some folks, I think it was, who was it yesterday was making some great points. Like when there's a shooting, like there was a shooting at Walmart. Remember that John Crawford was killed in Walmart? Nobody said close Walmart. And in that example, Walmart, you can make an argument that Walmart was complicit on some levels. By the way, justice for John Crawford. It amazes me how the John Crawford case never got play. It never got play. People were outraged who were connected, in Ohio. But outside of Ohio, the John Crawford case never rose to the level of let's say, Tamir Rice even, or Michael Gardner. It never got to that level. Why is it? Some say it's the involvement of Walmart. Could be. But when there's a school shooting, nobody says close the school. How do you blame, or maybe there is some blame? Because there's updates, new details that I'll share with you. Could change your mind. Again, 513-873-7134. Kelly writes, good morning, Nathan. Good morning, Kelly. Pat writes, good morning. Fame writes, good morning, Choppers. I'm not from Houston, but I rap a lot. Rhonda writes, good morning, beautiful people in the chop shop. Dale writes, good morning, kings and queens by nature. Sluggo, Esquire affiliate, salute, writes, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Avery. That cool-ass avatar, man. I'm loving it with the shades on. Tiffany writes, morning. Craig writes, what's up, Nathan Choppers? Whack, weak-ass man who can't square up or costing lives and business owners to lose their liquor licenses. This ish is whack. I hope these young kids rat their asses out. See, that's the other thing I don't want this to become. I don't want this to become a referendum or a conversation about the black community's willingness to work with police. See, I've lived in Cincinnati long enough. I know how these things go. There's already been an appeal out there to the community for people to come forward with information, and I think that they will. But that's not the core of this issue. The core of this issue is gun violence in the city of Cincinnati. Like if you're 21, 22, you might even say those individuals are incorrigible. Okay, but what are we doing to make sure that their nieces and nephews, their sons and daughters don't grow up and 20 years from now, they're at the future equivalent of Cameo nightclub and they end up doing or being involved in the same damn scenario? That's what we need to be worried about. I'm worried about the future because what's happened has already happened. Let's learn from it. And I don't want this to become, I can hear Christopher from that, oh, black folks got to turn black folks in. That's what's wrong. We don't have any witnesses. No, what's wrong is people are perpetrating these crimes. That's the problem. I'll say it again. I think that, and I believe Mr. Smitherman, a member of City Council, has recently stated something similar to what I believe, and that is that perhaps we need to look into offering more money for tips, especially when you've got crimes of a violent nature, because people's lives are on the line. I might have to relocate. I may not be able to go back to my same house, my same apartment where I lived before once I leave from talking with the authorities. Anything can happen. And as much as possible should be done to protect witnesses. Matter of fact, the Cincinnati Police Department, they have a very interesting program. And I was out at a city. I'm so glad I got out. I love being out and about. But anyway, I was out at a community council function, and the police were doing a presentation about this program and some of the various support that they offer to witnesses. I want to talk about this program, if you live in the city of Cincinnati, just to give you some education about what's out there. From what I understand about it, I think it's a fabulous idea and needs more financial support. And so these are the kind of specifics that when you're talking to someone who is running for city council, or that you're talking with someone who is running for mayor, that you can specifically say, do you support this program? And if you become the mayor, if you become a city council member, would you make sure that this program is properly funded? But we'll talk about that in just a little bit. 513-873-7134. For my listeners from around the country, and you're like, well, we don't have this program, a program like that in Cincinnati. Well, hey, it might be a great idea that you can introduce into your locale, your local governance, wherever you may live. Again, 513-873-7134. And I agree with Craig. I mean, whatever happened to the days of just squaring up? When did squaring up stop being enough? Whatever happened to the good old days when you took your ass woman and just went on home? You know, he got you this day, or she got you this day. It is what it is. Come back tomorrow. Do your push-ups overnight. I'm pushing up. And you go back and you fight them in school the next day. Now, you know, somebody gets the best of you, you got to kill them. They have to die. It's not enough to physically put your hands on them. No, they have to die. You have to murder them. They have to be murdered. Whose children are this? Where are your children? Whose children do these kids belong to? Cruther writes, good morning, choppers. What are we doing in our public schools? What programs do we have in place right now to ensure or to try to prevent the sons and daughters, nieces and nephews of the folks in that club in 15 years being in a similar situation? That's what the focus should be. It shouldn't be on trying to punish Julian Rogers. I mean, look, there were some things they should have had in place. Well, now here's a great opportunity to make sure you get them in place. And now he's got to shut the doors of his club. I've never gone to the club before. I never really had a desire to go to the club. I mean, you know, I had my time in those kind of venues. I told you I did that. House of Love. I did all that stuff. Okay, I had my time. Smoke-filled room. Something in my glass. I don't know what I was drinking back then. Probably some kind of cheap beer. So I did all of that. You know, I lived through that. I understand. It's fun as hell. It's fun as hell. It is fun as hell being 23, 24. You've only been legal for a little while. And you're in the club with your homies, looking good, feeling good, smelling good, dancing good, meeting new women. You know what I'm saying? Feeling those emotions, those feelings. That's fun as hell. Everyone should do it if that's what you're inclined to do. Responsibly, by the way. Catch your Uber. And always strap up. I'm talking about in terms of a condom. And in these days, maybe you got to take your weapon with you. Should you allow weapons in establishments where people sell alcohol? Is that part of the remedy to situations like this? Like, if people had an understanding. See, part of the mentality of somebody that snuggles a gun into a club, a venue where they know that people are told not to bring weapons, is that they feel like they may be the only person or one of the only persons that has a weapon. Imagine a scenario, okay, where you're in a club and the laws have been relaxed to allow individuals to conceal and carry even in establishments where there is liquor. And some psycho sicko or one of these grown-up ass Similac baby kid SpongeBob generation watching that, you know what I'm talking about, decides that they're going to get into a fight and they lose the fight, they want to pull their gun out. And when they pull that weapon out and start firing, dozens of people in the crowd pull out their weapons and start firing at him. Is that the world that we need? Do we need to have that kind of fear in the minds of potential bad guys? People that would do bad things? I'm not going to say evil. John Crowley went way too far with the E word. I mean, he just throws the E word out it's evil. Everything's not evil, Mr. John Crowley. I'm sorry. To me, evil, that's a very, very different kind of thing. These are misguided, miseducated individuals. Casted aside in some cases, mommy and daddy wasn't there for them. Let's be real. In some cases, mommy and dad was there. They just don't give a damn. You ever met somebody just don't give a damn before? It's sad as hell. Because they think that means that's strength, but it's really weakness. You ever met somebody who I don't give a damn about? I don't give a fuck about this. I don't give a fuck that. And they probably are not doing anything in their life either because they don't care about nothing. But what do you think? Again, 513-873-7134. The Ohio Liquor Control Commission. Oh, let's see who's on the Ohio Liquor Control Commission. Sarah Creedon is the executive director. I'm on the website right now, by the way. Do anybody know who Sarah Creedon is? You ever met Sarah Creedon? Probably not. The Liquor Control Commission is comprised of a staff of 3 fixed-term commissioners and 5 full-time office employees. The 3 commissioners are appointed for a 6-year term by the governor with the advice and consent of the state senate. So you got 3 commissioners. The chairman is Deborah Price. Or maybe she was the chairman up until February. James Carnes is the vice chairman. And Mike Stiziano is the other chairman, the other board member or commissioner as well. And his term is through 2021. Mr. Carnes' term is until 2019. So interesting. Again, when I see things online, hey, that's why they provide links so you can learn. And Angela Higgins is quoted as saying, "It's all I hear is gunshots. All I hear is gunshots." And I'm wondering if there are going to be any civil lawsuits after this. Because I've heard of people talking about this. Quote, "All I can hear is gunshots. I don't know what to tell my kids." Now, this woman might be psychologically scarred for life. Real talk. You know, we're used to hearing gunshots in the movies, and they make the gunshots sound all, I don't know, they make them sound cool in the movies, right? Pew! Ricocheting bullets. I don't know if it's like that in a live fire situation. Something tells me it's different when your life's on the line. Something tells me it's different when your life is on the line. That's what it tells me. So again, I don't want this to turn into a referendum against the black community. This should not be somehow a way to gauge the seriousness of the black community's willingness to work with police. Because as I've told you before, if there's resistance in the black community to work with police, it's the police's fault. It's your fault. Yeah, buddy, eat that one. And I'm not talking about you, Mr. Average, everyday member of the Cincinnati Police Department. I'm talking about the police and their racist interactions with black people since the beginning of recorded history in this country. That's what the problem is. It's the everyday interactions that people have had with police and law enforcement in this city that prevents them from working with law enforcement. Not some misguided attempt to let bad guys go free. No, that's not what it is. So I don't know. That sounds like something Christopher Smitherman might do. And I hope that brother's listening. No, Chris, don't do that. Jill writes, good morning, all. Nicole writes, good morning. Tiffany writes on the news, it said he had to close because the landlord wanted him out. Jordan writes, we need to start owning our own commercial buildings so it's harder for them to put us out. Tracy writes, wondering if he will go after OTR Live next. Well, see, that's the thing. You never know how far. Now here's the thing. Now, this particular owner, the guy who was a club owner, right? He owns and is a part of several things in the city that get a lot of attention. And one of them is a club called OTR Live. I've enjoyed the sushi. I love a little shrimp tempura. And the wife and I have gone there before. What would happen if, and I've never heard of anything like this happening at OTR Live before, but what would happen if within sometime this summer, there's some kind of scuffle or fist fight at OTR Live? And the local media gets hold of that. What happens then? So you never know. This individual is also behind the so-called Black Taste of Cincinnati. What would happen to that? Could be a ripple effect. Doesn't matter. You might say, I don't give a damn. But it's something to consider. Dare writes, Nate, you are right. Closing the club isn't going to end the violence. But that club had to shut down because the security measures laxed that allowed those elements in that caused the shooting. J. Raj has other business ventures, and he'll be okay and learn from it. Those lawsuits are really going to test him. I pray that he will be able to sustain it. Me too. I hate to see anybody, especially someone who, I'm kind of familiar with. I'm not that familiar. I mean, I know J. Raj, but I'm not like super, super tight with him. Again, I never try to portray something that I'm not. He has a much more of a closer relationship with my wife than with myself. But of course, we are very friendly. And I'm with you on that. I hate to see the brother get put out of business over something that ultimately was not his design. Like, if you're a business owner, if you are a club owner, this is the last thing in the world that you want. This is the last thing in the world that you want. You don't want to see this. You don't want to hear about a shooting at your establishment because it's costing your money. It's costing you money. Lawsuits. You're getting bad press. They say all press is good press. Not when you have a public establishment. If people feel like it's not safe, guess what, choppers? They're not going to go. They're not going to allow their friends to go. And so I just hope that the image of what happened at Club Cameo doesn't follow that brother all around to every other business, because I don't think that would be necessarily fair, in my opinion. I don't think that would be fair at all. And I get it. Like, if the security measures are not where they were supposed to be, hey, you got to deal with the violations and the citations and everything that comes with it. But I just hate to see like a piling on effect. And I've seen that in this city before, so we'll wait and see. Nathan Ivey with you. I'm live, I'm local, and I'm vocal. This is the Nathan Ivey Show, and we'll be right back right after this. Been in the city of Cincinnati. And this is the 21st century. Good morning. 513-873-7134. So hooray, everybody's happy. Club Cameo's going to be shut. They're shutting their doors for various reasons. And that's it. So we can all go home now. Violence problem solved. Nothing to see here, folks. No more issues now. We've solved the problem, right? Hell no. Closing Club or Cameo nightclub is not in any way addressing Cincinnati's ongoing issue with gun violence in general. I say that we need to adopt strategies where, for people who are adult age and who are willing to make a change, great. We should be there to help them, to assist them, to support them. For those who are not, of course, we got Joe Dieters and the long arm of the law for some. But our attention should be with the young ones as much as possible. We have a violence-obsessed culture. Everybody loves the drama and the gun violence. I mean, listen, fellas, here's my challenge to you. Tell me, what is your favorite movie of all time? What is your favorite movie of all time, ladies? Your favorite movie of all time? I would love to know. I guarantee, if you're being honest, like with your first reaction, your favorite movie of all time, I guarantee in many of those answers, probably an action movie. Would you say The Godfather? Yeah. Well, what would be The Godfather? Or what would The Godfather have been as a movie without guns? They play a central role. We talk about Ryan Reynolds. Oh, he's an action star. We talk about Vin Diesel. Oh, he's an action star. We never talk about Beretta or Glock. They get as much screen time in some of these movies as the humans do. So we have a very gun-obsessed culture. And at the same time, you got people out there that they're just not screwed on as tightly as you or I. And it's a multitude of things. It's their mama and daddy first. It's mother and father first. It starts at the home. If people are raising their kids properly, meaning that you've got to respect something other than money, hoes, and clothes. All the nigga knows. You got to respect something more than just that. And you got to actually be there in the lives of your children. It makes a profound difference. Is it the music? Well, yeah, it is the music. It is, quite honestly. Let me go ahead and say it. Hip-hop culture is part of the blame for it. Only in as much as hip-hop culture is an aspect, a subculture of American culture. And American culture loves violence. It loves violence. You know, people try to blame hip-hop, like, oh, this hip-hop. You bringing this violence, all this violence in our communities. Wait a minute. Wait. When I was a kid, I used to watch action movies. I used to watch gangster flicks with my uncle. I used to watch all these kind of things. Way before I was listening to NWA, I was watching and consuming media. And a lot of it was violent as hell. And it will always be. It will always be. See, I'm no longer a hypocrite about it. I'll just tell you straight up, I love some ratchet television. I do. Okay, we can get intellectual. We can pontificate, but we can also break it all the way down and enjoy just some great straight up TV drama. Kirk and Rashida. That man's a dog. By the way, that's what women say. We may talk about that in the future. His, hers, and yours. And some folks are like, Nate, bring the wifey back on Friday. This is a sidebar, a tangent, if you will. But she will not. The wifey is going to be out of town on Friday. Next Friday, we'll pick back up on it. We had a good time. We really did. And you know what? Even in our own relationship, what I found is we took the energy that we had when we did that segment on Friday, and we brought it into our relationship. We were talking about, the conversation that we had, some of the interaction. She was really, really interested in what the Choppers had to say. So it was a good time for us. Hopefully it was a good time for you. And that's just a snippet. Of course, perhaps in the future we can deliver more for you. But back to my main point. We live in a very violent culture. Some say it's the music. It might be the music because the music has an impact. Let's be honest. The music has an impact in the minds of the very impressionable. Very impressionable. For those who are easily influenced. And I think in most cases, those who are very impressionable and very easily influenced are that way because of their parents. You show me a messed up an adult, you go back home, messed up kid. And you can fill in the blanks as to what messed up means, okay? Derek writes, top of the morning, Choppers.
Get to the chopper!
Me and Arnold about to fall the hell out, man. Don't yell at me, Arnold.
Get to the chopper!
Give a damn about your guns. Craig writes, hey, Nate, is Christopher Smitherman blasting off the Pluto yet to find the members behind the club cameo shootings? He might be. Christopher Smitherman would never live that down. He once said, and it was after a tragedy, right? Very tragic situation. You go to a club, young woman went over to, it was Melrose YMCA. And she went to a teen party. I think it was a birthday party, like a Sweet 16 party. That never happens on MTV's My Sweet 16. On that show at the very end, these overprivileged brats get a $5 million car and they drive away into the sunset. That's what happens on that show. In real life, this young woman caught a bullet, died and dead. I mean, tragic. Can't even imagine if that's my daughter. So, I mean, even after all this time, condolences to the family. They'll never get over that. Their family will never be the same. It'll never be the same. And that's sad. It really is. That really is. And Christopher Smitherman went into the media and said, he was quoted in the media as saying that he was going to go to Pluto to find the perpetrators. Lawrence writes, good morning, Choppers. Good to see you, Lawrence. I'm catching up with Lawrence real soon. Kiki writes, talking to Daryl, Miss D writes, greetings. Carolyn writes, good morning, Choppers. Mr. Hollywood writes, hello. Carolyn writes, Nate, what's up with Devin Nunes' secret meeting at the White House? They doing the most. It's hard for me to keep up with this. So Devin Nunes he's the lead, the committee chair on the House Intelligence Committee, I believe. He's a U.S. rep and a Republican, and he was a part of the Trump transition team. I mean, a bravo to the media who are hip to these connections because he was a part of Trump transition, which means he could be complicit. And he is now investigating whether the Trump transition team, any members of that Trump transition team, was colluding with the Russians. I could think of people who have less involved who should maybe be leading that, but that's the way it is. It's the reason why the White House was really pressing for not an independent investigation, but they wanted the investigation to be in the hands of someone they can trust. And now we know why the White House can trust Devin Nunes. Is because he will contort himself into a human pretzel. Look at this, Mr. Trump, just to kiss Trump's ass. That's why. Was it him? Was it Devin Nunes? So he's already destroyed the credibility of the investigation by sharing the information that was given to him behind closed doors by the IC intelligence community. And then he walks his ass over to the White House and sits down and says, I have a responsibility to talk to Mr. Trump. Yeah, because he regurgitated one of the mind-controlling parasitic organisms into his body cavity. Oh, you're going to take this, Devin? Oh. The real Devin Nunes died about 21 days ago. That's a Trump parasitic zombie, flesh puppet, basically. You can't discount that. I know it's wild and crazy. It's just a theory from Nathan Ivey, but you cannot discount it. In the world of Trump, anything is possible. And then we found out that Devin Nunes was like traveling with one of his aides, got a phone call, jumped out the whip, and just had some kind of secret meeting. Then Devin Nunes claims that he met with somebody at the White House. What? Like I said, Devin Nunes is willing to contort himself into a human pretzel. He's willing to dislocate his hip and reattach it to his shoulder, like maybe you used to do with some of your action figures or baby dolls back in the day, where you could dislodge it from the hip and then kind of squeeze it into the arm socket. It never worked, but that's what Devin Nunes is trying to do right now. And it's fun to watch and very confusing and kind of scary. Will the Trump administration get away with it? So far they have. And they're way beyond doing the most, Carolyn. Matter of fact, Devin Nunes is a damn Gilligan. Just touch him up, please.
Just sit right back and you'll hear it.
Yeah. We are living in the last days of common sense.
Brothers and sisters, I don't know what this world is coming to.
It's coming to an end. The end of common sense. Robin writes, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Robin. Good morning, Kashana. She writes, good morning. John writes, good morning. Good to see you, John. Kiki writes, I think she meant hi. Yeah, I know that she did, but I mean, I had to have some fun with it. Tracy writes, yeah, I was getting my party on at 7 a.m., Nathan. Oh, my God. Somebody says power returns this summer for Jericho. What's up, Chief Rocker Jersey Vern? He writes, good morning, family and Nate. Esquad Affiliates. People have asked me, what is Esquad Affiliates? I'll say it again. It is an affiliation of podcasters. And all of them, I believe, are doing their work on the Spreaker Network. Some may be doing live shows. Some may be doing podcasts. And I've connected with these individuals through KC. I think they're doing great work. I respect and support what they're doing. And if you're someone who likes podcasts, check them out. Check them out, like my man Chief Rocker here. Dale writes, Nate, long as unknown entities, FBI, CIA, keep dropping off crates of military-grade weapons in black neighborhoods, don't think this isn't happening, because this story has been told for years. The violence will never cease, unfortunately. Yeah, I've kind of heard something like that, too. I don't know how true it is. I've never seen these crates from unknown entities. I mean, we do know that the federal government was complicit in exploding and promoting, projecting, spreading the scourge of crack. We know that. That is a fact. Like, nobody can argue against that. So when black people say the government put drugs in our neighborhoods, they did. Can you say Freeway Ricky Ross? Freeway Ricky used to come to Cincinnati. Where do you think he was getting his drugs from? A government connect. I mean, this is all well documented. It's all well documented. Read your history. To some of the new choppers. Read your history, new choppers. Derek writes, House of Love, super bad, super T, LOL. Ah, the House of Love. Man, who did I meet at the House of Love? We could do a podcast on that. I met some lovelies, kind of. Craig writes, Nate, these children are the children of crack babies. I hate to say it, but they are some of them. And in 20 years, the future killers, dusty-ass thugs will be the children of the wild-ass kids who are doing some bad procreating. Damn. Bad procreating? That's too close to to eugenics. You know, bad procreating? Oh, no. We don't need any bad procreating in the city. Chief Rocker writes, that's the main reason why I don't go out too much, because the right to carry. Jordan writes, wow, you don't go out because of the right. I mean, you got the right to carry as well. I get it. I hear a lot of people saying, I don't go out because of this. Like in the last couple of days, last 48 hours, I've heard that more and more and more. I don't go out because of this. I've had family members. Who was I talking to just yesterday? It was a male. It'll come to me. But he was telling me, this is why I don't go out, Nate. And I'm like, this is why you don't go out, man? Please, I'm going out. I'm going out. I'm not sitting in the house because I'm afraid somebody might pull a gun. Now, do I go to all places? No, I do not. No, I do not. Have ever gone to Club Cameo? No, but that's not really where I am anymore. If I was in my early 20s, I used to go to the House of Love. Yeah, I probably would have been at Club Cameo. I might have been there on that night. What's the craziest thing that's ever happened to you in a club? And I know we have some folks who've actually been in clubs when violence has erupted. I mean, to me, I've seen a couple fights here or there. Seen a bodyguard slam the Jesus out, the spirit out of a man. I mean, he slammed this man, bow, and I seen his spirit just rise up, and he was like doing the Ghostbuster above his body. It was not good. I think there was a dance called the Ghostbuster. I think so. Jordan writes, we need to address the mental illness in this society. She's right. I think we're all mentally ill. I know I am. I cannot be sane with the things that I'm trying to accomplish. Or maybe I am. I don't know. I think there's a lot of it. I think that depression is underdiagnosed in certain communities, because how could you not be depressed? If you drive around some of the neighborhoods of Cincinnati, there's some parts of Cincinnati that I don't even want to drive down the street. You know why? It's too damn depressing. I don't even want to drive on the street. That ish is depressing as hell. It is depressing. Oh, my God. Don't even want to drive on the street. And I can't imagine how you can be inspired if you're looking at a bunch of trash every day. And walking through and past other people's trash. How can you be inspired? How can you feel safe in some of our neighborhoods? So I think that there's a lot of things that people are dealing with that are vastly undiagnosed. Vastly. I mean, listen, some white people won't appreciate when I say this, but as black people, we know it. Black people in general, off the top, dealing with racism. That right there in and of itself, I mean, this is a country that sells itself as a meritocracy, but only for some. That in and of itself, the crush of that, like, and some people are touched by racism and it's more profound in their lives than others. But that we never talk about the incredible pressures that certain people are living under. Certain people in our community in the city of Cincinnati are under a crazy amount of pressure, the kind of pressure that would make other people's knees buckle. But they've been brought up in it for so long, they've just developed coping mechanisms. And some of that is self-medication. There's a lot of self-medication that's going on right now. Okay? With the drugs, with the marijuana, with the alcohol. I mean, listen, if you really think about it, some of these stars are straight up alcoholics and drug addicted individuals. But they're functional because they're still able to perform music. You can't tell me Future is not an addict. Future is an addict. Every other interview, he's got a blunt in his hand. He's always talking about popping this, doing this, drinking this. That's called being an addict. He's got a drug problem. Snoop Dogg's got a drug problem. I mean, we make it all cool because it's marijuana and, you know, he's got the blunt in the corner of his mouth. He's got a drug problem, folks. So, you got certain folks out there that are idolizing drug addicts. And these drug addicts are drug addicts probably because they're self-medicating. So then, okay, now I got to sip this and drink this and snort this and ingest this so I can get right like Future, so I can self-medicate, so I can forget about the fact that my mother don't give a damn about me. And I can forget about the fact that my father don't give a damn about me. You know how that feels? To feel like one of your parents don't give a damn about you? That's got to be crushing. What does it feel like to be 18 and you feel like I might be dead in 2 years? There's no future for me in this country. Makes you wild out. You might do anything. You might shoot into a club full of people. You might do when you sell drugs. You do whatever then. So I think we're starting to recognize that in our schools. That when we see people in our schools, young people in our schools, and they're having behavior problems, smart educators, smart administrators, they read that for what it is. That's a cry for help. We used to just automatically, summarily, oh, okay, Johnny's no good. That's a bad kid. We'll put you on this line. We'll put you in this room. But we're starting to understand that in school buildings, sometimes kids' behavior problems is really not about them being a good kid or a bad kid. They got other issues. They may have issues at home. I think the same thing's happening when these kids grow up to be adults. The only difference is that when you're 5 or 6 or 7 or 8, 9, 10, you make a mistake, it's cute. You little kids, you got future. When you're 27, nobody has any remorse for you. Nobody wants to give you a second chance. Nobody want to hear that. You're a grown person now. So we've got less patience the older you get. You know that. But I'm with you 1,000%, Jordan. I think there's a lot of depression. I think the depression is widespread in our communities. How could you come to any other conclusion when you look at some of the behaviors? It's depression, and depression is a mother. Depression is a mother. You got people that appear to be functional, and they are depressed. They could never be diagnosed because some people have an anxiety about going to the doctor, especially when you go into the doctor and talk about your feelings. A lot of black men, we don't go talk to you. I'm not going to sit down and talk about nobody with my feelings. Nuh-uh. We'll work it out with some nana. I'll work it out with some backstrokes. Yeah, that's how we work it out. We work it out by working out. Yeah. Yeah, go buy some new clothes, make us feel good. Go get a new car. You know what I'm saying? That's how we work at our issues. We ain't going to sit down with some stranger and tell them about how your feelings and how Billy bullied you in the 3rd grade and you never got over it. But we need to. I think depression runs rampant in our communities. I think it's a major issue, and I think people are self-medicating. They're trying to escape from their problems. They're trying to escape from their issues, and they get hooked on these substances, and now you got a double problem. That's what I think. Pat writes, what Cranley did to the former police chief was evil. I'm just saying. Whoo, Pat's not a Cranley supporter. I get that. Damn. I think the E word gets thrown around too much. Jericho writes, I know this comment appears insensitive, but what is the mother of 5 doing in the club? Misguided, miseducated children grow into immature grown boys. Place blame where blame is due. It starts at home. I'm just saying. Damn, Jericho, I love you for that. You just put it out there. And I'll give her a here for the sake of the conversation. Does Jericho have a point? She says, listen, you got a mother of 5 kids. What are you doing in the club? Now, Jericho, the obvious answer is that's why she's in the club. She's trying to get away from their asses for a little while and be grown and have some time to herself and be around children and not be around children. That's what she's trying to do. I'll be honest, when I read that, I saw that and that thought went through my head. But then I thought, that's unfair, Nathan. Just because she's a mother of 5 kids doesn't mean that she should not be allowed to go to the club. And before anybody says it, oh, are you going to get a 6th kid? Well, she might. She might. I don't necessarily have contempt for young women that have a lot of children. Because my mother was a young woman with a lot of children. I was one of those kids. And so what I would just hope for anyone in that situation is that, they're making the right decisions for themselves and they're willing to, in a mature way, deal with all the responsibilities that come with it. But I'm not necessarily going to hold that against her. But I know some people might bring that up. Do you agree with Jerica? I put it out there. Damn, Jerica, you just said it? So if she was so Jerica, let me ask you this. If she was a mother of two, would it be more acceptable for her to be there? Is that a class thing there? Come on, let's be real. Cincy Tigers writes, good morning, beautiful people. Same to you, Cincy Tigers. Good to see you. But Jordan writes, right, Nate, our police still have a segregated union. Well, they're all a part of the FOP, but there is a separate organization that represents the interests of the minorities who are a part of the FOP. And it begs the question, it's 2017. Why is that still necessary? What's going on inside the department? Brenda writes, happy Tuesday, Nate and the Choppers. Same to you, Brenda. Cynthia writes, good morning. Good to see you, Cynthia. Dale writes, I wouldn't be surprised if some paid person starts trouble at ATR Live and cause trouble at the Black Taste. I will definitely be paying attention. Well, Daryl, listen, I would hate for somebody to do something like that. I really do. That would be cutthroat as hell. But that's my concern for J-Raj at this point. My concern is, and for me, I'm able to do that. But again, we're all human. If something happens at OTR Live, if something happens at the Black Taste of Cincinnati, which is completely possible, because you can't control all people at all times, are the powers that be, right? Are they going to use that as an example to try to put this brother out of work? I don't know. This is purely speculative. But it is something to think about. Reggie writes, good morning, Nate. We're ready to shoot you some money, bruh. Paying for some laughs we get from listening. Okay, I appreciate it, Reggie. Yes, absolutely, man. If you want to support me, you can go to nathaniv.com, click on the support tab, and either you can become one of my patrons or you can make a one-time donation, but it's all there on the same page. I appreciate it. Now, Demi writes, good morning, Choppers, and I take it very seriously. I take it as a huge responsibility that people would trust me with their dollars to build something. So I appreciate it. Kush writes, reliable source. Sister V writes, good morning, Nathan and the Choppers. See, Brian writes Rocky 4. Derek writes School Days. Mike writes Matrix. Kush writes Heat. Kesey writes Goodfellas. All great movies. And in many of them, as I said, the Glock, the firearm, it was a star of the movie. Right next to Neo. Serenity writes, favorite movie all time is hard. I have several. The Women of Brewster Place. P. Evans writes, it is the guns. You can't blame anything else. Kush writes in quotations, violence is as American as apple pie. Tracy writes, my husband and I just walked out the door at the Ritz before the security guard was killed. Also at Mr. Kelly's. Wow, you had just walked out the door? Tracy writes, I was at Mr. Kelly's. I was on the dance floor when a cherry bomb was let off next to me. Now, why would you do that? What kind of idiot brings a cherry bomb to a nightclub? I'll tell you. The kind of idiot who knows he's not leaving with any women, no numbers. That's all he has is to bring a cherry bomb into the nightclub. Tanya writes, absolutely, mental illness is real and very underdiagnosed and undiagnosed. Tanya is exactly correct. It is completely undiagnosed. It's the same thing with this whole deal with the heroin addicts. And, whenever I get a chance to, if I'm talking with members of city council or whatever, the mayor candidates or the mayor, I'm going to make sure I make this point. And that is, we have to look at the addiction cycles in the heroin epidemic from both sides, because both sides are addicted. The addicts are certainly addicted to the substance. In some cases, they started with painkillers because of maybe, accident on the job or something. In other cases, they were prescribed opioids over the counter, and it just progressed into what it is today. In other cases, it started with street drugs. I don't know what the percentage of that is. I like to see those numbers. Like, what's the percentage of addicts, heroin addicts, and I'm not sure how you get this information. And what was their gateway drug? What was the gateway drug? I bet you it was alcohol and cigarettes. I guarantee it. But anyway, in many cases. But anyway, so what happens is there's so much sympathy for the heroin addicts. Like, oh, they're addicted. Give them some Narcan. Bring them back to life. Maybe they'll get their lives together. And then we see that in some cases in the city, in the county, it seems like black heroin dealers, they're treated as if they don't have any issues. But what I'm saying is they're addicted to the fast money. And fast money is just as addictive, even if not more addictive, than a substance. But most people don't process it like that. So you've got people who are addicted to the money, and then you have people who are addicted to the substance. And they both need to be weaned off of it in some way, shape, or form, or fashion, so that we can lower their recidivism rate. But we always look at these dealers like they're evil. They're not evil. They're capitalist. They're selling something. And like I said, if you've never gotten fast money before, then you don't really understand that. And if you don't even know what that concept means, it's hard for you to wrap your head around it. But there are people that get caught up in the drug game, and they get caught up with the money. You know, the money's coming in so fast and it's so easy selling a substance. Who's got time to fill out a resume? You making $500, $600, $700 a day. Are you thinking about filling out a resume? No. You're trying to get the money as much as you can. And in many cases, these brothers, it's not like some kind of investment. The money comes in and goes right back out. But we don't properly diagnose some of the problems in front of us. And that's why we can never really come up with a solution or a cure. Because it's a complete misdiagnosis. I agree with you completely, Tanya. Carolyn writes, I try my best to stay off certain parts of Reading Road. I would go around the world so I won't have to drive on certain streets in Price Hill and on the west side in general. Right. There are streets in Cincinnati that I don't live on, but they depress the hell out of me driving down those streets. I can't imagine how the people who live on those streets can find inspiration, can find hope when they've got these images in front of them. I don't know how they do it. Jordan writes, I just took some Molly. What else? It's a quote from Future. Nicole writes, the Spirit, LOL. Well, I saw the Spirit knocked out of someone, jaw in the hallway at the last Adrian Broner. They were so close, I felt the wind from it. My date and I was like Chris Tucker and Ice Cube and Friday. Damn, that's right. Damn. Sick. Damn. I hope that brother's okay. Not good. Jordan writes, I ran from bullets inside of Club 7 back in the day. You ran from bullets? Damn, Flash. You outran the bullets? Damn. Good morning, BS3 Sports. Tracy writes, she needs a break. I'm a mother of two. It gets real, right? With 5 kids, that's why that woman was in the club. She needed a break. I understand completely. That's a tough role. And again, I'm not saying Jerica felt this way at all. I think that was legitimate to say that because a lot of people feel that. And I'm glad she put it out there. But I don't look down on women because they have a lot of kids. I would look down on a woman who has a lot of kids and she don't have a plan. Now I got a problem with you because now you have kids here. Now it's time for a plan. I would pay extra money for a welfare system. I have no problem with it. If it's going to support other children, even if they're not my children, let's say I had no children, I still would pay more taxes for a social safety net because I understand that in the long run, it's going to cost me as a taxpayer less, and it's going to make our environment better, even if I'm not seeing direct benefits in my household every single day. But that's just me. I got no problem with it. P. Evans writes, damn, Ned, you telling the truth about depression and self-medication. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, you got dudes out here who are addicted to marijuana. They're addicted to it. And people say, you can't get addicted to marijuana. Of course you can. You can get addicted to anything. You can get addicted to coffee. You can get addicted to donuts. You can get addicted to soda pop. You can get addicted to buying clothes. You can get addicted to makeup. You can get addicted to masturbating. You can get addicted to anything in this country, in this world, in this reality. So surely you can become addicted to marijuana. Watch that, fellas. But a lot of these dudes that's smoking marijuana, they're self-medicating. They're staying high because the reality of what their prospects are. Their future looks so bleak that they don't even want to think about it. All they want to do is turn their life into a never-ending party. And that's the reality. They're not evil. They're not bad people. They're probably hurt, depressed, uninspired, and tired. Feel like they're left out. Feel like they have no future. That's dangerous. It's very dangerous. Nate, all the doctor's going to do is prescribe medications to treat your depression, which in turns doesn't solve your problem, but will make it worse. And on top of that, a possible addict. Some people just don't want to risk it. Well, I don't know, man. I mean, I think that each and every one of us, including myself, and I can admit it, could benefit from having someone that you sit down with who is not your family member, who doesn't know you, who won't judge you, and if they do, it doesn't really matter, and and just talk with them. You know, you don't have to take any drugs. But that's where it really begins. I mean, any diagnosis about depression or whatever will begin with a conversation. And so, again, I have been prescribed a lot of different drugs over the years for a lot of different things, mainly like basketball-related, recreational-related type injuries. And there's a lot of stuff I never took. Because just because a doctor gives me something doesn't mean I have to take it. What I do is I talk with the doctor. I ask 1,000 questions. I mean, I'm that guy. Like the doctors are like sighing like, okay, Nathan, answer my questions. But many of them are really good about it, except for that phlebotomist at my doctor's office. Try to give me the business because I asked her if she had clean needles. I'm not doing this with you, Nathan. I'm like, damn, I'm not your boyfriend. I'm a patient. But anyway, that's a sidebar. I still love that doctor, by the way. And that phlebotomist, she don't even speak to me no more. Before I was so friendly, I think she thought I was cute. She was all friendly with me, but now I'm that Negro. But anyway, I mean, I can be that guy. Sidebar, tangent, sorry about that. But, you don't have to take what the doctors gives you. I mean, unless you do your research, come home, go online. There's a lot of resources. Look at the side effects and see if the side effects are something you want to deal with. Mila writes, is it because she has 5 kids? Can a woman with 2 kids or less go out? I don't hold nothing against a mom trying to have fun. Kiki writes, so it's wrong for her to go out and have a good time because she has 5 youths? Rhonda writes, Jericho was right. A mother of 5 should not be. No, Jericho was right. A mother of 5 should not be in a kiddie bob club. She was trying to get away from her kids to be around other people's kids. Because that's what a young person's club. I'm sorry to pass judgment, but if you are a mother of 5, hopefully you too old to go to the club. See, that's a tough one, Rhonda. Again, I'm not going to hold that against her. So if she was a mother of 1, it's okay. Does it matter the ages of her kids? No, it really doesn't to me. The only thing that really matters is, did she secure the proper person to make sure her kids are safe? That's all that really matters. Now, if you're a mother kid and you tell the babysitter, I'll be back in a few hours, and you don't come back until Monday and it's a Friday, that's between you and the babysitter, but I'm not going to hold that against her. But I get it. Sissy Tigers writes, they are dragging her on the news Facebook post. I knew that was going to happen. Once they said she had 5 kids, everyone deserves a break sometimes. Yep, even a mother of 5 kids. Really? Well, let me go to that Facebook page. What is this, WCPO? Yeah. Let's go there right now. Before we do, I posted this this morning. Closing Cameo will not solve Cincinnati's gun violence problem. And then check out the show. And I've already got a few comments. Jay writes on Facebook, it will just push the problem to another establishment, like it did when they closed Ritz, Vito's, Dream, etc. And eventually, when it's all closed, they just hang in the streets all night. I remember Club Dream, where dreams come true. You should do a live broadcast on Friday nights talking relationships. That was a good time. Vernon writes, no, it will not, but I believe he made a smart business decision with giving up that license. The lawsuit will be off the chain, not worth it. Let's go to the phones. Good morning, caller. How are you?
Good morning. This is Rhonda. How are you?
Hey, Rhonda, what's going on?
I'm doing fine. I think that my rewriting it out came out wrong. What I was trying to say is Jessica was right about her being a mother of 5 at a little kids club. You know what I'm saying? But if you got 5 kids, I'm hoping that the person is mature enough to realize that they need to be at an adult club. You can have a break, but when you become a mother, sometimes it's like at that point where you have to start thinking about your children. And when you take that break, you need to make wise choices. And we already know the youth is out here acting a fool. I won't say all the time, but a lot of times we have that one or two knuckleheads messing it up for everybody. So we have to make better choices on where we go and take our break.
But Rhonda, maybe that was her favorite club. Maybe she's a young mother. She looks like she was relatively young. So maybe that's her favorite club. She shouldn't go to her favorite club if she gets a babysitter for her kids?
Once again, as a mother, and I don't care if you got one child, you have to start making a decision on what type of clubs you're going to go to. And I'm not saying that club was always rowdy because I ain't never been there, but the description that has been given to us of the club, you are a mother, you have 5 children. It could have been your favorite club, but let's pick clubs that you probably won't have to be dodging bullets. You know, more of an adult, wrong setting situation. And that's, like I said, I hate to pass judgment, but all in the same breath, maybe that's the problem. Us older women is not sitting these younger women down, teaching them what they need to do once they become in that role of a mother, become in that role of a wife. We so busy like, we don't want to pass judgment, that we're not training them and teaching them how to make better decisions of a mother. And that's when you have those women you were talking about who have 5 children without a plan. Because no of the other women have stood up to be mentors to these women and tell them, no, you shouldn't be there as a mother at a club where there's a whole bunch of young people who have nothing to lose. You have something to lose. You have 5 children. So therefore, you need to pick a setting where it's other people in there who have things to lose, who are grown up, who have children, who have careers, have things that they're not going to act the fool on because they're going to think about, if I fight you, what's going to happen to my children? Instead of being around people who don't have those worries. That's what we're trying to say. Well, I'm trying to say. I can't speak for Jericho.
All right. I hear you. All right. Take it easy, Rhonda.
All right. Bye-bye.
Damn, they coming for her. And I don't like it. I don't like it. Angel Higgins, a mother of 5, was among 17 people shot. She's the victim. Let's not victimize the victim. She is the victim. And to me, it doesn't really bother me that she has 5 kids. I see Gladys Pope, who I am Facebook friends with. She may be listening. Good morning, Gladys. She writes, and I'm on WCPO's Facebook page. She writes, what does it add to the story that she was a mother of 5? Why is that pertinent to this story at all? I see what you did here. I'll help you. It's not. Take that out, please. My prayers are with this sister. Let me like this real quick. WCPO on your side actually responded. They responded, looks like 9 hours ago. They write in response to Gladys, hi, Gladys. We've added that she was a mother of 5 because when she spoke to us, she said that her first thought upon being shot was of making it home to her children alive. It was important to her and to the way she told her story. She's got 14 likes. Barbara, that's a funny ass emoji. What is this? I see James Combs. What's up, James? See, my listeners are so active, man. I love that. James writes, this is hogwash. Is hogwash one word or two? Seems like more of your channel's bullish to me. I'm going to go ahead and like that on James just because I know you. Someone named Josh writes, maybe she should be at home with her children in the first place instead of being out slutting around at some club. He got 3 likes for that. Now, how do you know she's slutting around at a club? See, this is a class attack now. Let's not lead a class warfare attack, a class warfare digital attack against this woman. She is the victim. She was struck by a bullet. She was not the person who was shooting anyone. She was there to have a good time. She's got 5 kids. They're probably driving her nuts. And she finally got a chance to get away. And that's what it is. See what else here. Someone named Nicole writes, I feel like they're overdoing it. Every hour seems to be a pointless update. It's not getting us any closer to what really happened. Take a break and come back with valuable details. Someone named, is this Josh? Someone named Josh Ferguson wrote, shouldn't she be at home being a mother instead of out clubbing? Many of these kids had a decent upbringing. They could prevent all this mess. He got 4 likes for that. And then some people are coming to the mother's defense. Someone writes, were the 5 kids with her? See, that would have been irresponsible. If she took her kids to the club, that's irresponsible. If the kids are at home, they're sleeping, they're with grandma, or there was some other appropriate adult supervision, it's all good. That's how she should be blamed. I mean, she should be judged. Her children were at home. Now, did she forget her kid and leave her kid in a hot car? No, she did not. Coming for this woman. Jerica writes, yes, she has 5 children to be home with them. If she had 2, I'd be inclined to say the same. From what it sounds like, this club is for the younger crowd. What are you doing there? Kiki writes, OTR Live, when my king husband and I went for the Mint Condition concert, they didn't want to pay money. They didn't want to pay them their money. So they came on stage late. Also, security was weak. There was marijuana smoke thick and heavy toward the back of the place. I'm so glad we were in the front row. Needless to say, we will never go back there. Damn. Bad experience at OTR Live? Damn. Mila writes, I got 2 kids. Yes, I do go to the club. So does my husband. Why? Because to be honest, Cincinnati doesn't have much to do for younger people. And yes, I've been to Cameo. I think Mila's right. I think for that demographic, because I was that demographic, and I'm telling you, there wasn't a lot to do. And my peers and I would discuss it like, man, this city's trying to close down everything, lock down everything. You go to Short Vine and close that down. You go to Eden Park, that gets closed down because of Gilligan's. People doing things that draw a lot of negative attention. Pam writes, oh, wow, Sarinthia, Brewster Place is up there with The Color Purple, but I also love Cooley High and the 5 Heartbeats. T. Nicole Taylor writes, the NAACP and Prince Hall Masons 2017 Mayoral Forum is tonight at the Community Action Agency, 1740 Langdon Farm, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. It will start promptly at 6 p.m., so arrive early. All 3 candidates will be there. Come and hear the candidates who want your vote to lead the city. The power is in our hands if we turn out to vote. Thank you for the update. That's absolutely correct, and I will be in attendance for sure. And no doubt about it. I may even have my children with me. Let them enjoy that. Pam writes, I always had a good time at Boswell's in the North Side in the Common. Love music, patios, great drinks, casual, and no cover charge. Jericho writes, let's be real. There are clubs that attract the unfavorable crowd or a more rowdy crowd, and then there are the more mature club atmospheres. With maturity comes better decisions. Kelly writes, morning, Nate and fam. Good morning, Kelly. Tanya writes, exactly, Nate. I think everyone should have a therapist. It does not mean you're crazy. Everyone needs someone to talk to. Absolutely correct. I agree with that completely. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that completely. I don't think that means you're crazy. I think that means you're very sane, actually. Sister V writes, PTSD is not just assigned to our veterans. Many in our community are suffering from urban PTSD. Depression is even striking our youngest, such as the 8-year-old who recently hung herself. This ish is real. Absolutely, Sister V, I agree 1,000%. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Tanya writes, type of clubs you go to, that type of stuff can happen anywhere. Grocery store, movie theater, church, shaking my head. Great point. That's right. I think Jericho's right. There are certain clubs that attract a certain clientele. And let's be real here. When it's young African Americans and it's trap music, or is that type of hip-hop music, you already know that can be a very volatile mixture. Let's call it what it is. Okay, let's talk straight about it. It's that same demographic that caused a ruckus a couple years ago at the Taste of Cincinnati. Let's keep it real. Down on the square. It's that same demographic. But is it the majority of the people that represent, that particular demographic? I say, 17, 27, that range. No, I think it's a very, very small percentage of those individuals. But they get a lot of attention in the media because of things that happen. This situation in Cameo, don't think this is over. This is not over by a long shot, ladies and gentlemen. This is just getting started. This is just getting started. The media is reporting this over and over again. That this is the worst mass shooting of 2017. The worst mass shooting of 2017. That is huge. My question is, will we adopt any policy that will help to address the issue of gun violence in our community, maybe for future generations, and or help to prevent something like that happening in the near future? I'm open to your suggestions. 513-873-7134. This is the Nathan Ivey Show. Currently, you ready to deal with some actions because we're a sanctuary city? Do you believe in that concept? Check this clip out. This is the Attorney General.
Designed to frustrate this enforcement of immigration.
This has impact possibly in the city of Cincinnati.
Refusing to detain known felons under federal detainer request or otherwise failing to comply with these laws. Failure to deport aliens who are convicted of criminal offenses puts whole communities at risk, especially immigrant communities in the very sanctuary jurisdictions that seek to protect the perpetrators. DUIs, assaults, burglaries, drug crimes, gang rapes, crimes against children, and murderers. Countless Americans would be alive today, and countless loved ones would not be grieving today if these policies of sanctuary cities were ended. This guidance requires state and local jurisdictions to comply and certify compliance with Section 1373 in order to be eligible for OJP grants. It also made clear that failure to remedy violations could result in withholding grants, termination of grants, and disbarment or ineligibility for future grants. The Department of Justice will also take all lawful steps to claw back any funds awarded to a jurisdiction that willfully violates 1373.
So there it is. Will there be ramifications for the city of Cincinnati? Our mayor stood up. Our city council stood up for the principles behind being a sanctuary city. And my limited understanding tells me I've drawn a conclusion, and that is, why do we want our police resources running around being stretched even thinner than they may already be, trying to accommodate the Trump administration? This seems to be more phobia. This seems to be more fear-mongering. This seems to be more, is this patriotism? Is this nationalism? It's Gilliganism to me, a damn waste of time. This is how you're going to make America great again, by stretching our police force too thin? You go right ahead, Mr. Donald Trump. You go right ahead. See, Kiki writes, to be truthful, she nor any other person would have imagined this tragic event would have happened. Amila writes, this is basically victim blaming. It's the victim's fault for going to Cameo. No, it's the shooter's fault. I'm with Mila J on that. Lawrence writes, Rhonda, you make an interesting point. There are two sides to the decision making of going out. Mike writes, as a single dad, I make sure I stay away from the youngins. Craig writes, that is a lot of damn kids, people. Come on now. Uh-oh. Mila writes, what if it was a man with 5 kids? Would he get the same backlash? No, he would not. Let me answer that. No, he would not. If it was a man people wouldn't be looking at it like you should be home with your kids. They're only doing it because it's a black female. And they're overlooking the fact that this woman to me, what sticks out the most is that this is a mother's love. This woman thought she was about to lose her life. And in that moment, she's thinking about her children. Her children. I mean, to me, that's an example of her love and commitment for her children. That's one way of looking at it. Brian writes, it's a thin line. 5 kids, pretty sure there are better places she can attend to let her hair down. But hey, hopefully she makes better outing decisions. But who goes to any place thinking somebody might shoot up the club tonight, or somebody might shoot up the comedy club tonight? Or let's say you go to the new Kroger store, and while you're at the Kroger store, somebody comes in and something bad happens. There's shots fired. Is it fair to blame you and say you shouldn't have gone to that Kroger store because you know it's the new Kroger store? You know it's a Target? No, that's ridiculous. Something tells me that if Angel, I think it's her name, if Angel thought or had any premonition that there was going to be violence in the club, she would not have gone to the club. Something tells me that. I don't know. Call me crazy, but something tells me that if she had any idea then she never would have gone to the club. She never would have gone to the club. So we must discuss that. If you want to continue this conversation, we can. 513-873-7134. Coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio. This is the Nathan Ivey Show. We must also talk about Mr. Devin Nunes. We cannot talk about him enough. I can't let this guy off the hook. This looks like a straight up cover up. And I don't know. Maybe he's doing a good job of it. And Devin Nunes is supposed to be leading the House Intelligence investigation into collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia, or the Russians. But he was a member of the Trump transition team. So do you think he's got a dog in the race? You know he does. Because he could be incriminated. Like, for instance, if one person on the Trump transition team we find out was colluding with the Russians, guess what, folks? It makes the entire team look bad. So if you're a member of that team, whether you knew about collusion or if there was collusion, you have a self-interest in making sure that nothing negative really arises from where you used to work. The media should be all over this. It should be all over it. And it's very, very obvious. I mean, props to the Democrats because they've been calling it out. I mean, this looks like a straight up cover up, and it's not even a really artful cover up. I mean, it's very clumpy and it's stumbling over itself. Somebody needs to help Devin Nunes with a better cover up. You know, Devin Nunes, he needs to call that woman from Scandal. I know I keep bringing her up, but she's an amazing person. Devin Nunes needs a female, right? Because who knows how to cover up things better than a female? Yeah, I'm calling you out, females. Who can cover up something better than a female? You know, women got dirt. You know, you got skulls and bones in your closet. It'll never come out because women are experts of covering stuff up. They're experts at it. Much better than Devin Nunes. This is a horrible cover-up right here. Horrible. What happened to LeBron James? I saw that LeBron James, he left the game early yesterday, and it looks like the Cleveland Cavaliers are slumping a little bit. Let me jump around the internet and make sure my boy LeBron James is doing well. You know I'm a LeBron James supporter. I think he got elbowed in the back. That could be devastating. And why aren't the Cavs playing better basketball? It's got to be LeBron James' fault. He's the leader. Get it together, LeBron James. So get ready for the NBA playoffs. Nobody got some NBA playoff fans. Kiki writes, exactly. We had nothing to do after a while here in Cincinnati. Sluggo writes, clearly a lot of these comments are people hiding behind their bigotry. These same folks would never blame the victims of mass shooters in predominantly white areas. There's no issue in this country that is race neutral. Jericho writes, I love the fact that we can respect the different perspectives in the room. Okay, I hope that extends to Brother Akeem as well. I got to say that. Shauna writes, back when I was a teen, Mr. Kelly's open from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. for teens. I used to love Mr. Kelly's back then. Used to go to Spectrum, too. Never ran into any problems at either place back then. Daryl writes, Nate, I was listening to 700 on the way home from work, and they were talking about the shooting, and a caller called in, and he started off by saying that 95% of the listeners that tune into this station, like him, doesn't care about what happened at the club. And then that idiot goes on to say that all the people injured in the shootings deserved it because they were doing nothing but criminals. They were nothing but criminals. I had to turn the station quick because my blood boiled quick. Wow. Said 95% of the listeners don't care that listen to that station? Damn. And they let all that stuff get over the air, huh? Well, it's an opinion. Maybe it's a true opinion. And if it's a reflection of the audience, maybe he's right. Now, I don't think that one caller can speak for 95% of the listenership, and I disagree with what he says. I think there's a lot of people that care, and I think a lot of people, if they don't care, they're just interested because they like the drama of it. And that's what radio does, no matter where it is on the radio dial, right? But it says something about the mentality of that particular caller. And that's as far as I would take it. I don't think that caller represents anybody other than that particular caller. Kiki writes, talking to Sluggo. Kiki writes, I used to love that type of thugged out crowd. If the music was popping and the drinks was nice, hell, I was there. But as I got older, I changed. Not but because of what people said, but before myself. Craig writes, I'm sure one of her baby daddies probably has 5 kids also. So here we go. Cherish writes, I'm in that demographic and there is nothing in Cincinnati to do for fun. Okay, Cherish. So when you say nothing for fun, what does that mean? Like there's no nightclubs, there's no specific day parties. What are you saying? Like there's nothing to do for fun. But when I was of that age, I felt the same way in Cincinnati. I felt so limited. Dale writes, in terms of my options. And Cincinnati is limited. Cincinnati's limited in terms of its media options. Cincinnati is very limited, and we just accept it. We just accept it like that's just the way it is. And, that's why I've been reaching out to the visionaries in my audience to become patrons, because I can see the future. And, in the 21st century, people want choice. So if you're 21, 23, 25, 27, you want to have choices to go out and spend your dollars. You're working hard. Maybe it's your first job. You want to go out and treat yourself. You want to socialize with members of the opposite sex or your friends, family. Dare writes, yeah, I did. I was curious to see what they were saying about the shooting. I might tune in myself, actually. I have not been listening to any other media other than my own. So I will listen. I will definitely listen around the dial. Dare writes, Brian writes, mother of 5, you have to play the odds. Grocery store or club where shootings have happened before. Chuck writes, the black man has always been portrayed as the boogeyman. So anything that happens, it's always shut it down and keep them in their place or lock them up and throw away the key. Damn shame. Someone writes, it can happen at other places, but you have to be smart as a mother of 5. Well, you have to be smart as a mother of 1. I mean, the number of children doesn't change what a parent should do. Like, the way a parent interacts in this world for 1 child is the same as you interact for 5 children. Yeah, there's more people that's counting on you, but your responsibility as a parent is the same. So if you wouldn't go to a certain club because you have 1 child, 5 kids, it would be the same as if you have 1 child. There's no difference. Cerinthia writes, the woman went to the club to chill and ended up a victim of gun violence. It seems as if everyone's idea of what acceptable for this grown woman is Bible. She is grown. That doesn't say anything about her parenting or her ability to be a good mother because of her club choices. Would her choice garner more empathy if she was at a movie or an amusement park? ? Or are those questionable too, since young rowdy kids frequent those places also? ? When can a victim be a victim and not as culpable as the assailant? Shaking my head. I guess if I would have got hurt last night because I'm a mother of 3, it would have been my fault because I should have made a better venue choice? ? I don't get it. ... Shaking my head. Great flow. Great flow. That might be the flow of the day right there. That's a great flow. Let me screenshot that right there. Boom. Got it. Hold on. Let me say this real quick, Cerinthia. That is a great flow. I agree with you. And I filed that under great flow. I like that. I'll post that later on. It's a great flow right there. Peter Evans writes, the victims from the club need counseling. I agree. Is there a group of counselors willing to talk to these young people? If it was a school shooting, they would be offered counseling. Well, that's a good question. Again, I can't say what has and what has not been offered to the victims definitively. What I can say is that would be a good move right there. That would be a great move to make sure that all of the individuals have some type of counseling. But that's 200 people. That's a lot of folks. That's a lot of counseling. Slugger writes, we don't know the thought process that led her to the club. Kelly writes, I'm biased, news critic most days, but don't they always talk about some demographic when doing stories on mass shootings? She might be proud and so down good mom of 5 kids. Who knows? Someone writes, pretty sure these sanctuary cities will not harbor convicted felons who are legal aliens. Shaking my head. Propaganda lies. Did he say gang rape? Now that's straight up wrong right there. That's some straight birth of a nations type ish right there. And that's the reason why I played that clip from Jeff Sessions. This man is running through a list of criminal offenses. And perhaps they have happened. But, you know, to make that statement, gang rape, I mean, that really conjures up these images of illegal immigrants, check it, non-white people, coming into your community and raping your wife or raping your daughter. That's some straight up birth of a Nathan-ish right there. And I think that that is a very careless, very loaded way of talking about this. But, you know, this is the Trump administration. They've got a different style from Obama. Don't you like it? Don't you like it? I just love it. Craig writes, yeah, Nunez better call some double clutchers. They're excellent cover artists. Yes, they are. These females are the best cover artist of all time. Nobody can pull off a cover up like a female. There are men out there living with women and they have done dirt and you will never know. They'll never tell you. It's never coming out. And they got it so covered up. And it's probably a dude that's within your circle on some levels. That's how these women are, man. You got to watch them. My wife has hit me to the game. Angela writes, I will just say thankfully she's alive to mother those children. And we're not sharing a GoFundMe link with not so good story. Letty writes, and good morning to you, Letty. She writes, good morning, Nathan and Choppers. I am not here to offend anyone. I love my people, to be honest, and to share truth and wisdom. But Nathan, and what if the party goers who went to Cameo or any other clubs knowingly that security was allowing the guys in the clubs on a regular basis with their guns? Are the individuals responsible for themselves? Should they take ownership? So you're saying, what if the people who brought the weapons into the club did so because they knew that you could get guns into the club? Or maybe you could pay to get the guns into the club. I believe I read that. Let me make sure here. Let me make sure I get it straight. But I believe I read that Cameo had no formal agreement to check patrons for weapons. And I'm not sure if that's true or not. And apparently there was like a second way, like an express entrance. And it was a faster way inside. And obviously there were some guests who entered and they were not hit with the wand and they were not patted down for weapons. Now, do I believe that the owner of the club would, if he knew about that, would have liked that? Probably not, because it puts you at liability. But when they work for you, then the actions of the people that work for you could put you in liability. And everybody's getting praise. The fire chief praised the first responders in the Cincinnati nightclub shooting. Everybody's getting praise, heaping on a lot of praise. And 4 off-duty police officers said that they didn't believe that they were aware that there was a side entrance. Again, if I'm reading that wrong, please set me straight if you've got other information. Wendell Young said yesterday, and they in WCPO, they misspelled his name. They spelled it Wednell. That would be Wednell, not Wendell. That'd be Wednell. Who's Wednell? Young. Yeah, I'm talking about spelling. I know I'm not the best. I'm human. Quote, I want to be careful that I don't label the owner of this establishment as irresponsible or someone who doesn't care. I have a feeling that that would not be an accurate assessment. So people are at least publicly trying to, sort of tiptoe around the situation with the ownership. And again, the owner of that particular establishment is very well known within Cincinnati. Very well known. Jericho writes, come on now. Keem's comments are sexually offensive and directed at various people. I stand corrected. Women in the room, I wish Akeem well, but I am simply opposed to his overtly sexual offensive comments. You can support him all you want, all you will, Nate, but I cannot and will not. I'm just making a point. Jericho, we talking about having conversations and keeping them in context and agreeing to disagree. I'm just making a point. That's it. Brian writes, post 911, post pulse, post school shootings, post restaurant shootings. I keep my head on a swivel. I sit with sight on the front door. Maybe that's the military of me. Times are different these days. Damn, Brian. So whenever you go into a place, you always sit with a line of sight on the door so you can see the perpetrators coming in. I mean, you have to be aware in these days and times, but I don't want to be paranoid. And I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying I choose not to be paranoid. Lawrence writes, I have to challenge anyone that says there is nothing to do. There are plenty of events and things to do. Search Facebook, Meetup, Eventbrite. Change who you befriend and you will find plenty to do. Now, if you want things hood in nature, there will be limitations. So it's hood in nature to go out to a club now? Damn. But do you agree? Someone writes, we have to make better choices when we become mothers. I used to love the Ritz. I love you so much that I knew Drew, Brandon, hell, DJ Squires like my brother. But when I became a mother, I had to fall back from that scene. Not saying I stopped going to clubs. I just stopped going to Kitty Bop, nothing to lose clubs. Oh, okay. Can they put that up in neon lights? This is a Kitty Bop, nothing to lose club. And that way I'll make sure I don't mistakenly go inside. Because I don't want to get caught up in a nothing to lose club. I got a lot to lose. Angela writes, seems like we have a couple of groups with different schools of thought at these clubs. Some go looking for stuff to be popping off, and others go to chill. When these two clash, you have scenarios like what happened in Cameos. As a mother, I stayed mindful of the environment I had myself in. I mean, what it comes down to is when you go out and you're in a public setting, you can't control other people's children. You don't know what the next person's experiences is. Not everybody has a mother and father that raised them with love. Some of these cats has really been raised by the streets. Some of them really have a wild out mentality. And they don't give a damn. And then there is a small segment of the population that really don't, and I'm going to use a curse word here, don't give a fuck. And I mean that. And I mean that in the most serious way. There are people out here that will do anything and pop off at any times. They could be surrounded by police, but if it's time to pop off, they're popping off. They don't care. I think it's a very, 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 very small percentage, but all it takes is 1 or 2 incidents. Some folks don't have no back down in them. That's the new bravado, killing somebody. So you went to Club Cameo and you murdered someone. Was he the intended target? So now think about this. While you might be going through your day and, we're talking and rocking mics and all this kind of stuff, there's someone out there whose child is never coming home. Never coming home. In fact, there's someone out there that is running for their life right now. They're a fugitive of the law because they killed someone at Club Cameo. How utterly ridiculous is that? But these are the last days of common sense, my friends. And we traverse these murky waters together each day. This is the Nathan Ivey Show. Thank you so much for listening.